Hello, everyone, and welcome to Next Level Video Conferencing and Virtual Teaching. Better video, better audio, and multicam. Oh my. Anyway, this is going to be the first time I've ever done it like this for sure, and it is just craziness, the amount of stuff that we're going to try and cover within this and all the different things that I'm going to show you. Hopefully you get a lot out of it. So before we begin, let me introduce myself, Peter Fujiwara, Apple Distinguished Educator 2010, best class ever, and here are my contact info. And I believe it was Martin Kutz who actually produced this little keynote template that allows me to put my image in the Festival of Learning logo. So shout out to Martin Kutz for sending that to us so that we look really cool when we do this screen. I am coming to you from the wonderful town of Milton, Ontario in Canada, fastest growing city in Canada, I think a couple years ago, may still be as well. And before we begin, I wanted to do a land acknowledgement. So let's begin with this. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis, from the Anishinaabe and the Ottawandaron, the Haudenosaunee and the Métis. These lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that walked before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us. And right now, what I want you to do is I want you to take out your phones and open up your camera and click on this. And what it's going to do, it's going to open up a Menta Meter where you can actually drop a pin where you are, because I just want to see where you are in the world. And I'm hoping there are some people that are not on the Americas continents, but and boy, people are quick. Holy smokes. I'm going to give it 30 seconds for people just to sort of get their thing going here. And hopefully everyone's got it now. They got their phones out and they're doing the thing. 8 people have already submitted. I'm looking at it now. Oh no, it isn't 8 people, it's more. There's just a whole bunch of people in the same spot, essentially. Let's see, a lot of people in the Toronto area. Let's take a look. And you're wondering, how do you know this, Peter? Well, let's take a look. Everyone's dropping in like this. There we go. Look at that. People all around the world. Oh, that's so cool. We have people in Africa. Oh my God. And Australia and somewhere in water in the Asia Pacific area. Oh my gosh. I wonder what time it is there. Anyway, I want you to keep looking at your phone. I'm going to get you to actually type in the city, province, or state and country as well. So just keep looking at your phone. And I'm switching the entry. So just enter your city, province, state, or country and just do that now. Let's see. As I admit more people. There we go. Oh, so cool. Okay, those people in all different parts. Rome, Italy. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Oh, just keep going. Keep going. Enter it. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is so cool. Milan. Boy, I have to get to know my Italian friends. Finland. Sydney, Australia. Oh, Jakarta, Indonesia. I am impressed. This is definitely worldwide. So like if you haven't, it hasn't shown up yet, just keep entering away. This is great. Okay. Such an international crowd. Now, I also want you to find out if you're an ADE or not. So if you can go onto your screen again, I'm sorry for all these little things, but just go on and enter in whether you're an ADE or not. And that way you get an idea of how many people are ADEs, and this is sort of getting you used to this whole thing as well. Might be an Apple teacher or something like that. So, and people are definitely getting it. Wow, 23 people already responded, 25. Okay, let's show the results. Okay, this is great. Okay, this is like almost everyone right now. So this is great. Okay. So the next one is just going to say what your role is. So just stay on your phone, fill out what your role is, and we can see how many people are teachers, if you're administrators, if you're a consultant, or if you're something else. So it gives us an idea of the audience. Oh, I got a lot of others. I wonder what those others are. I know we invited a lot of tech folks from the IT departments and things like that. So those might be there as well. Awesome. My gosh. That is fantastic. Okay, and I think that's everyone that's been participating in those. So let's take a look. Okay, where are we here? Okay, so let's begin the actual presentation part. So now that I know who my audience is, the first part isn't about image. It isn't about the video. It is about your bandwidth, because before you can actually do a good session online, you have to make sure your bandwidth is good. And this was my bandwidth that I tested a little while ago. So wired or wireless? That is the real question. This was the connection speed when I did wireless to a router really, really far away. And this kind of speed is not fast enough for you to be effective online. So in order for you to check, this is what you want to understand: wired versus wireless. Okay, if you're wired in, you have a dedicated line to the internet. If you are wireless and you're like my house, we have like Apple TVs, we have TVs that are connected to the internet, we have all these different things that are wirelessly going into the router and out. And every device that goes on shares that bandwidth. So if you share that bandwidth, your effectiveness online is limited, to say the least. The other thing that's important is the distance to your router. If your router is in the basement and you are on the third floor, you may get limited signal strength and lower bandwidth. You may look at a mesh Wi-Fi system in order for you to expand that. But what I'd like you to do now is I want you to test your speed. So click on this. It'll take you to bandwidthplace.com. If you're on a computer, type in bandwidthplace.com and you can test your wired speed if you're wired in. But on your phone, I assume you're wireless on your phone, you can test your wireless speed. So just go to this site, hit test. I think it says test. And then I want you to show me your speed.
And note the download and upload speeds.
Yes, note the download and upload speeds, because I'm going to ask you to enter them into another Menta Meter. Okay, so hopefully everyone's got that now. Now go to this one, and you're going to enter in your speed. And if you did wired and wireless, if someone did do wired and wireless, then enter both in. If you don't, just enter in the one, and then we'll take a look. So hopefully everyone remembered theirs. Let's see if we have any entries yet.
Is that
You'll notice that my dog is here. Okay, we got a couple people showing someone's wired and wireless. That's cool. Oh, it's interesting. It's just moving around based on different people's entries. Oh, I think it's averaging them. I am going to show it to you right now. There we go. So I think it's averaging the entries that people are putting in, and the top end of the scale is 600 megabits per second. Okay, so it's definitely at the low end. So what you want to be doing is, like, my general rule of thumb is if you've got an upload speed of 10, that's the bare minimum of upload speed. If you've got an upload speed above, say, 30, you're good. If you're above that, you're laughing, just about for everything. I apologize for my dog if you're hearing that. Arrow, no barking. Arrow, no barking. If he sees another dog, that's what happens. Okay. Now, step 2 going on, sorry for the distraction of my dog, is image quality. Now, image quality is determined by many different things. Just know that the webcam on your device is likely, unless you're on an iMac M1, is terrible. Okay, let's just admit it. Tiny little lens, very little thought put into it. It's 720p. Okay, so your webcam on your device is not very good. Lens quality mask, you want to be 1080p, not 720. Lens quality matters. You want it to be glass, not plastic. And you want a larger lens, because larger lens means more light gathering capability and better possibility of a good image. The sensor and CPU also makes a huge difference because it gives you a better ISO range, or sensitivity, or dynamic range, as we say in photography. And the last item is, regardless of what you're using, even if it is your computer, clean your lens before you go on. You have no idea how much a fingerprint on a lens will affect the quality of your image. So option 1, this is where we're getting into the better video, better audio. Better video, option 1 is Camo. And I don't know how many people know Camo, but it's an app for your iPhone. And there's a free version. The free version only allows you 720p. However, because it's your iPhone and your lenses are made for photography, you get a huge lens upgrade from what you have on your computer. And you get a huge processor upgrade, which processes the image as well. So the image quality is stunningly better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, regardless of whichever one, like if you get the free or paid version, every time you upgrade your phone, you upgrade your webcam. So it is like the best. Admit another person. There we go. So right now, I am showing you, this is from my iPad Pro. These are the different cameras I've set up, but this camera in the middle, way back, is my iPhone 11. Way back there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to that one so you can see where I am. There I am. Hello. Okay, so what I can do with this is I can actually use, if you have the full version, I can switch lenses. So I'm going to switch to the wider lens. Hold on here. Let me just go here. Switch to the wider lens. Okay, and because this is the iPhone 11 Pro, I also have the ultra wide lens. So I'm going to go to the ultra wide lens. There we go. And you can see my pull down green screen here and my collection of lenses on my shelf here. So for all those people that are jealous of photographic equipment, anyway, I'll switch back to the telephoto lens there. But that gives you an idea of the power of just using your phone. And look at the quality of the image. Quality of the image is stunning. And to give you an idea of how poor a processor can be, I also have this one here. This is an old iPad Mini 2. So it has much lower quality lens, a much lower quality lens. And so if I do this and I show this, the image quality is stunningly poor. Let's look at myself here. Okay, it is not, it's 1080p, but it's just not very good. Okay, and that's talking about the processor itself. So let me just push that out of the way and I will switch back to this one and put that in here. Okay, so to show you the application itself, I am going to go to the application here. And all I did to switch the lenses was go here, go to the wide, go here, go to the ultra wide. And up here, if I wanted to change exposure, I could actually change the exposure. So if I want to overexpose myself, I could do this and it should overexpose. It's not overexposing. I don't know why. And then I could change shutter speed. I don't know why it wasn't overexposing there. It should have. You can change
Did
white
yesterday.
balance. Yes, it worked yesterday. Yes. But it is a great app and it's definitely worth it. So if you download it, it is free. Okay. You don't get to change the lens unless you get the paid version. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll give you the link to the app. Where are we? Oh, yeah. This problem with multiple screens. Now, if you go to this one, this is the download the Camo app. And if you use this one, I think you get 15% off if you do decide to buy it, if you use this link. Okay. They have a perpetual license and they have a subscription license. I got the perpetual, so that way I have it forever. Anyway, take a look at that. Regardless of what you're doing right now, and even if you don't think you need it, go get it. It's free. Okay. Get it and it's free. Plug in your lightning cable or your USB-C cable into whichever iOS device you have, and then you have a new camera. Now, and you'll want this specifically because obviously I showed you, I've got multiple cameras hooked up to Camo right now. And this is about multicam. So we can talk about that as well. Okay, so hopefully everyone got that one. Now we're going on to the next option, which is the external webcam. Now, external webcams have gone through a huge improvement over time. And my favorite one right now is the Logitech Brio. It does 4K, 1080p, has a glass lens, a built-in microphone, a dedicated app, and a universal mount that essentially allows you to connect it to anything. However, even with all that said, and it is a great webcam today, I don't recommend it, because it won't be a great camera tomorrow. Like 2 years from now, this will be obsolete and there is no upgrade path for it. It is fixed hardware, okay? Whereas with Camo, when you upgrade your phone, you upgrade your webcam. So I recommend that instead for sure, okay? Because they'll probably be around the same price or Camo will be less. The last option, of course, is use a camera. And that is my option of choice. By far, it is my option of choice. So what I would like to show you is, let me just switch back here on my Camo camera. Okay, and go back here. So right now I have my Canon, what is that? That's my M6 Mark II. Set up there. And what I'm going to show you is they actually have an app. Canon has made an app for some of their cameras that allow you to use through USB, in this case USB-C, your camera as a webcam. And the app is called the EOS Webcam Utility, and it's still in beta. And I'm just going to turn on my camera here. On. And hopefully it goes on okay. It did before when we were testing. There we go. Okay. And so as you can see now, it's overexposed because I overexposed it because of this window over here. But imagine the fact that I can switch lenses on that. I could put all different things. And as I upgrade the lenses, I'm upgrading my webcam. Okay, so that is a great option as well. And if you've already got a Canon camera, then you just have to go to the website to take a look to see if your camera is able to be your webcam. So if you have a DSLR, there's a lot of DSLRs that are capable of being webcams, as well as many of their mirrorless cameras. So take a look there, and that's one of the options that you can do. Okay, so just think about the possibilities with that. Now, the other thing that you can do is, let me just switch to this. And actually, I'm just going to go get my, my camera here and show you my other one. Okay, let me switch. Oh, disconnected. What happened there? There we go. Okay, and so this is the other camera that I use, and this is my standard camera that I use. It's mounted on my desk here, and this is my standard webcam set up above my back. Okay, and so that allows me to do this very, very easily and very effectively. that down. So step two or step three is lighting, and lighting is key. Okay, and like those people are watching, I know Shazia is watching, lighting is key. So you don't need anything fancy, okay? Just a light, just add light and then diffuse light. So this lamp, that's a light. The lamp shade is diffusion, okay? That allows you not to have harsh light coming in. So right now, what I've got here is, let me just go across here. Oh yeah, look at yourself. 3-point lighting, you want to make sure you don't have shadows or anything like that. So if you look at me right now in the little lower corner here, right now my lighting is actually pretty good, but I can make it really bad by turning off some lights. So if I turn that light off, now I'm a little bit brighter on this side, my camera adjusted, but if I open up this window, now I have really harsh lighting. So I'm way too bright on this side. And now I'm getting shadows all over my face here and here. Okay, things that you don't want. So the way you do that is putting a blind down, I diffuse the light, and then I put on a fill, and then I soften everything on my face. So I have consistent skin tones. Okay, so the more light, the better, okay, because your webcam likes light. Okay, so when you're looking at it, this is how I like to explain it. If you have more light, your camera can lower the ISO to ISO 100, and this one's ISO 1600. These two pictures of Sam Batterbury, former student of mine, exact same photo, exact same day, same camera, same lens, okay? One is ISO 100, one's ISO 1600 because I added light to the ISO 100 image. Now you can't really see too much of difference here. However, if you zoom in, take a look at what happens if you have lower ISO. Exact same camera, exact same lens, okay? Just one has more light on it. Provide you with a significantly better image. So this is what I want you to think about when you're setting yourself up in front of your camera. Are you grainy like the 1600 ISO image, or are you sharp like the ISO 100 image? Hopefully I'm sharp right now because I should have decent light on right now. Okay, step 4, image quality, composition. Okay, composition. Here's the first thing that drives me crazy. Okay, worst thing you can do, and those people that are photographers, you never put a person's head in the middle of the picture. You never put them off to the lower right or the lower left unless it's purposeful. So what you do is you make sure you don't have a lot of headroom and you fill the frame. Okay, fill the frame. That's the first thing you want to do. The next thing with composition is it's just like video or photography. Frame yourself. Think about the things that are there. If you choose a virtual background, decide where you're going to place yourself on the virtual background. So I have several virtual backgrounds here in these images and did rule of thirds. Okay. Look for leading lines that point towards you, things like that that can enhance your image online. The 4 C's are clarity, which means are you in focus? Contrast, are you making sure you have good contrast in your image? Color, which means if you have enough light, you'll have good color. And then composition and all the composition rules associated with that. Okay, so just think about that. And the last thing in the center there, look at the lens. So if I'm looking at the lens here, I'm not looking at my screen down there, then I'm looking at my audience. Okay, so last survey. This is the image quality survey. So I'd like you to go on here and just do the image quality, just so you can tell me what kind of webcam you're using right now. I want to see if anyone is actually using a DSLR or mirrorless, or if you're using the built-in one on your thing, or if you have a dedicated webcam, or if maybe someone already has Camo and they've been using Camo. So let's take a look. So I'll give you a couple seconds. I'll wait till like a lot of people, oh my gosh, there's one person using a DSLR. I guess I have to show these results instead of me just getting excited and looking at them. There we go. So most people are using the one on your device itself. So hopefully all of you have downloaded Camo now and are going to use Camo. If you didn't know, I should mention on the Camo site, there's a guide for how you would set it up. You know, get a little tripod or something like this. I've got a tripod here. Here we go. little tripod that you can put behind your camera, like your computer. Oh, there's someone in the waiting room. Let's admit them. There we go. Okay, thank you for your participation in the survey. Next, step 5, audio is key. Okay, so audio is critical for anything that you do. In fact, you can tolerate bad video, but if you can't hear, you're just going to tune out. You'll cancel yourself out, leave the video conference, leave the lesson. Okay, so the first option obviously is the built-in mic on your device. And to be honest, the mics on current Apple products, your iPhone, your iPads, or your Mac are amazing. Stereo microphones, multiple microphones picking up sound. The only disadvantage, and the reason why I will never use one, is the rub, okay? If you adjust or move your computer or touch anywhere near the microphone, you get that rub sound. It is an awful sound on the mic and totally disrupts the flow of any presentation. So what you want to do is make sure that you always never touch your computer or device if you're using the mic on your Mac or your iPhone or your iPad. Okay, so, but I don't recommend that. What I do recommend is adding a mic. And this is a blue Snowball. And I think it was made in 2003, still a fantastic mic. The disadvantage with it is obviously it is an additional expense and you have to plug in a cable into your computer. It's just a simple USB and you're in, and you have much richer sound. Like you'll notice a significant difference if you get an external mic. Highly recommend it. The other one that I recommend is, let me see if I've got this set up. Admit another person. Let's see. And like in the case of my audio setup, I have multiple different items set up, and it's analog, which means I can use microphones like this kind of microphone, connected XLR, which is a professional audio connection, to get super high quality audio, which I will show you now. So right now, my microphone of choice is this Rode VideoMic NTG, which the reason why I like this is because there's multiple ways to connect. You can connect it USB-C if you want, so it's straight digital directly into your computer, or you can do an analog connect like I'm doing right now. So I'm doing an analog connect, which connects to my soundboard here. And so this allows me to switch between multiple different microphones. So I can look at, so I've got this microphone hooked up. I also have this microphone hooked up, and I've got that microphone hooked up, which is a really good mic. It is a Rode NTG5, my favorite YouTube mic that I've been using. Anyway, those are the different setups that you can do. So my highest recommendation, if you're on a budget, is definitely get like a Snowball or something like that, or this Rode VideoMic NTG, which is an excellent mic. So step 6, multicam. And so this is what I promoted the session as, a multicam session. Okay, so there's different ways to do multicam. There's a complex way and there's a simple way. So I'm going to show you the complex ways first. So complex way would be first, this is, I won't say this is cheap. OBS is free software that allows you to do multicam switching on your computer. So essentially making your computer into a TV studio. So you can do this simply by connecting cameras, like using that EOS Webcam software. So you get one camera with that. If you have Camo as others, you can have multiple cameras and then switch using OBS. I won't say it's easy, but at the same time, I won't say it's hard. Okay. If you like this kind of stuff, this is fun to play with. The other complex solution that you can do, this is a really cool device that Blackmagic makes. It's called the ATEM Mini, and there's the ATEM Mini Pro, which is my preferred one. And it's physically a switcher. So if you've ever seen a TV studio that has these massive boards where you click all these buttons to switch to different cameras, this is it in a much smaller package. Okay, it allows for separate audio coming in, a whole bunch of different cameras. The cameras have to be HDMI coming in, so it does limit you that way. And everything has to be wired. It can't be wireless. It's all wired in. The next complex one is Switcher Studio. Many of you may have tried Switcher Studio. Phenomenal product. Basically makes your iPad into a switcher. You can have a whole bunch of other iOS devices as cameras, and then you just switch between them. It does have limitations. It isn't something that I would consider for higher end production. You have limited sort of external audio and limited like wired capabilities. So you can't have like high end wired cameras coming in unless you actually get really super expensive stuff. They recently partnered with Camo in order to send their signal directly into a video conference. So I haven't tried it yet, but I think that would be fantastic. So this would be a cool way to do multicam. My preferred multicam setup by far is Sling Studio, which is obviously a big expense, but it allows you to do wireless and like all wireless anything. So wireless camcorders, wireless DSLRs, it'll do your iOS and Android devices. Every form of camera essentially can connect into it wirelessly, and then you can switch from your iPad or your Mac. It is phenomenal. It is a great device. So this would be all high-end, complex multicam switching. Not what I'd recommend for you. So let's go on to step 6B, simple multicam. And simple multicam is what I have been doing for this entire presentation, which luckily has not crashed. This is an app that I saw an ad on YouTube for MMHM. It's pronounced So it's hard to tell people, yeah, this great app, They think you've just finished a sentence. So it's MMHM is the app. It's free for educators right now. So if you sign up with MMHM with an education account, they'll give you the account for free for a year. After that, I think it's going to be like $100 US a year. Like it was $8.33 a month or something like that. You have to decide whether it's worth it. It's still technically in beta, I think, because it has crashed a few times on me, but it does amazing things. So I'm just going to show you what the screen looks like, and you're going to get this weird sort of effect here. So this is currently my screen. So if you look at what you can do, so right now, if I want to, like, I can switch my presets here, and I can go to much larger presets. So there we go. That's my original image. I can actually resize how big I am on this screen. So if I want to be smaller, if I want to be bigger, I can do it like that. If I want this screen to be larger or smaller, I can resize that as well. So if I want this to be bigger or move it to the side or whatever I want to do with that, I can do that as well. You've got green screen capability, which is really, really cool. This is the best green screen capability I've seen. So I can adjust the luma and chroma on this, so I can get almost perfect green screen on it. So you can see, if anyone's a film person out there, you'd be very impressed with the fact that a software like this will allow you to do refined adjustments of your green screen. And below is where I have everything set up. So this is where it's, and you can import into a PowerPoint, or you can import a PowerPoint or import a Keynote, and it'll just throw the slides down the bottom. And you can turn the slide off. You can put it over your shoulder. You can go full screen like this if you want. Okay, so it's the coolest thing. And these presets allow you to preset the different styles that you want it to be. So right now, was I in preset 2? Yes, preset 2. So I'm small in the corner, which is really cool. There's so many different things that you're able to do with this that it's pretty phenomenal. Anyway, what I'd like you to do now is just jot this down. You don't have to sign up now. It takes a while to sign up, but this is the link to MMHM, and is what I would recommend you start with if you want to start doing multicam. I would do MMHM with Camo, because Camo allows you to hook up every iOS device that you have as a camera, be able to switch between the different cameras using Camo, and then use MMHM in order to add cameras and add screens to your slide presentation, which I realize I didn't show you. So I will go back one slide and show you. So in order to add a camera or slide, if you look in the lower end here, if I click this, add Mac or iOS device, I can add an iOS device as well. And I can add in different screens like this. Or I can add in a second camera. So all the cameras that I have connected here, so you can see that I've got 4 listed, but also note that under Reincubate Camo, there are 4 different cameras. So with the 4 here and the additional 3, I have 7 possible cameras hooked up to my computer, which I can switch between using MMHM very quickly. MMHM and Camo. Okay, anyway. The last thing, I came across this, and I haven't tested enough to be able to recommend it, but it's called Manycam. And it was actually created in 2006 for Windows, and recently a version for OS X came out in 2018. And so I tested it about 3 days ago and went, oh my gosh, this is very similar to MMHM. However, it did crash a fair bit, and in order for me to do this overlay, you do layers. But it had some cool advantages as well. Instead of having each slide as a slide, you could actually put a whole PowerPoint or a whole keynote into one of the squares, which means you could go from camera to a full slideshow to another camera or whatever you want, or a video or something like that. And so you could separate a stack of slides into one of the slides, which I thought was really neat. And then you can layer up onto each one of your slides multiple different things. So you could probably put in multiple different cameras. The chroma keying, the green screening capability is very weak. So I assume it's a new feature that they've just implemented. But it has things like timers and countdowns and clocks and things like that, which are ideal for teaching, as well as more tools, which MMHM is going to be adding in, which are like arrows and things that you can draw on the screen as you're doing a live show. Okay, so anyway, that is the end of my presentation, and I am early, 2:42. I needed to leave at least 10 minutes for questions, so hopefully we are good. So we are into question time.
Okay, so Peter, I'm just going to jump in because I've been monitoring your chat session. First of all, a lot of positive comments. It was a very active chat session. Positive comments about the land acknowledgement and dogs around the world hearing arrow. And a lot of talk about your setup from your chair to the studio and that. I think the first question I saw was from Chad. So Chad, if you can unmute yourself, maybe you can ask that question you had about Zoom.
Yes, thanks, Peter, for a great presentation. I mentioned in the chat that there was some documentation on Zoom's website that if there are group meetings of 3 or more, Zoom will automatically limit the quality of the video. So I was wondering if a higher quality camera makes any difference if Zoom is automatically limiting video quality.
There is one sort of thing that I would do if I was going through. So hopefully my image quality is decent right now. You're still going to get decent image quality, but what you can do is in Zoom, if you change your share from just using your screen and share it to a document camera, okay, by default, Zoom will assume a document camera needs very high resolution. So if you're presenting, select document camera as your option for the share and use your camera, so a really high quality camera, whatever it is, and it will automatically send out a high quality stream, regardless of how many people are in the session. So kind of a little hack, because they know that if you use a document camera, you need very high resolution to look at text or whatever and things like that. So if you look in the advanced, I think it's the advanced options when you share. So there's 2 tabs. So you click on the second tab. One is like video and stuff like that, but one is document camera. I recommend giving that a try and just sort of test it with your friends and see what the difference is.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Peter. There was also a question. I know there was a lot of activity online. A lot of people are answering each other's questions. I'm not sure if Dr. Margot, if you want to ask Peter your question at this time about AirPods.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much. And this was marvelous. I feel like I'm going to try some of this tonight. I'm very excited.
Okay.
I would.
I've
but
got a survey at the end I want you to fill out, so I'll give you that link in a minute.
Okay, will do. So I switched to using AirPods, and I was wondering if you could tell me your thoughts on that as a microphone, etc.
AirPods are okay. It just depends on because you're using a wireless transmission. If there's no interference in your area, like where you're working or anything like that, then they can be okay. However, it is iffy. So like the questionable part is if something interferes, some kind of radio wave that interferes with the Bluetooth, or if you accidentally touch it, or if it just moves in your ear, you're going to get that awful sound because the mic is so close to your skin. So what I would do is test it with your friends and just basically tell your friends, if you hear anything go awry with the audio, then say, tell me, let me know if anything goes off with the audio. I just need to know. A couple of my friends do use it. One person uses it very effectively. They're basically isolating themselves when they use it. There's nothing around them. They're outdoors sometimes, things like that. And the Bluetooth connection is fantastic. My other friend is in an area like mine, which has so much EM and radio waves that it's awful. Every so often I'm going to hear a crackle or I'm going to lose the connection or something like that. So it really depends on your situation. But AirPods are great devices. Like I just, recently got mine like less than a year ago, and they're fantastic. But I still prefer an analog microphone of some kind or a USB mic of some kind. That would be significantly better and very reliable, like hugely reliable. You never have to worry about it. Any other questions?
Yeah, Art had a question. I'm not sure if Art, if you got your question answered with regards to teacher freebies, and I think it was with.
No. What was the question, Andre?
Yeah, I just wanted to know how to get the year-long freebie. All I've got it right now is a 7-day trial.
Oh, for MMHM?
Yep.
No, it should like the I think the 7-day trial is for non-educators. So if you did the link, I think it's app.mmhm. Is it? No, I can't remember. Oh my gosh.
Can you put it in chat?
Yeah, hold on here. If you do that link there, account.mmhm.app/education, you have to create an account with an education email. That's really key, right? So they have to know that you're an educator of some kind. And then if you're verified as an educator, you automatically get a year. Okay. Any other questions?
Otto, you had mentioned something about Zoom and virtual backgrounds. Is there something you want to add to that and ask Peter?
Yeah, sure. What the problem I have had with using the virtual background, and that's what I always use because I have a lot of pictures. The problem I have is that if I have a secondary camera and I have used a phone or an external cam for that, the virtual background always shows on all the cameras. And so because Zoom is programmed to see people, when you put an object in the external camera or the iPhone, you don't see that.
Oh, I'm trying to think. I'm not sure I understand the situation.
Okay, so you have a virtual background like I have it right now here,
Okay.
right? But I'm using the camera that I have on the Mac.
Right.
Okay, now if I connect an external camera and I have that or the iPhone, and I want to show, for example, a book. Let's say, for example, I want to show this book. Now you see what happens here when I show it here with the virtual background. It kind of disappears.
Okay, hold on here.
Okay, now if I have external cameras, because Zoom has programmed this to see people and the clothing, if I put an object like a book or anything else that I want to share with my students, the students will not see that because it only shows people. So the caution
you
is
mean like the way it cuts it out. If you put up a green screen and say, I've got a green screen, then you get the perfect background, right? Because that's the reason why mine shows up so well like this.
right.
And like I can hold up an object and things like this, is because I've got a green screen.
Right. So that's what I wanted to share, is that the problem is if you use the virtual background without a green screen,
Yeah.
then the external camera is not going to capture the object.
Yeah, that's right. It won't, because as soon as you step out, then it's going to be odd. I noticed that Joanna's got a hand up. So good putting up your hand.
Thank you.
Knows that I've been in class for a year and a half like this, and now I have to put it down. Okay, Peter, exactly. I'm reaching with Otto here because, as you can see, I have a small house. I live in a small house. I do not have a specific office for teaching. So are you telling me that if I get a green screen, which I'm trying to figure out how I can get a green screen in my living room, probably
Portable green screen.
curtains, hideable curtains, will it prevent, when I'm using a background, all of the disappearance of me, especially with my white hair
Yes.
and everything?
Yes.
So the green screen would be the secret. Fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm going,
no question.
would a green curtain do the same thing?
Absolutely. It's just the color that matters. But one thing with green screens, you have to light them well. So like what you want to do is you want to have an even color. So the reason why mine is good right now, I actually have lights on them. So like if I showed you, I wonder if I can.
And is there a specific color code of green? Or is
there is kind of a specific color green, but here, let me show you mine right now. So I have a pull down green screen. So it's like a screen that you get for showing movies and things like that.
okay?
And what I've done is I'm lighting it with 2 LED lights. So that way I get a nice even green cast.
Okay.
So that allows me to have a really nice, clean sort of image when I do virtual backgrounds.
All right, cool. Because as you can see, I'm hit by 2 huge windows. I shut the curtains when I give a class, but I'm hit by the other side. So I could surround myself with a green screen.
Yes, and then get light to shine on your face. Because like it's really important to light your face for the camera. So it'll make a huge difference in the quality of the image if you just add more light in.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thanks. Great answer.
Okay, there's another question, Peter. I know you're giving extra time to everyone here, and I think
I'm going to stay on until all the questions are answered. So
yeah, Margot, you had another question. Chad mentioned, he just brought my attention to it about if you do a keynote presentation, can still do the animations?
Oh, with MMHM? No. That is a good point. Like these are still images that go by, and even in Manycam, you can do sort of a dissolve, right? So you'd want to make those things into little videos on each of the different things, which you can do in Keynote. So you'd have to make each little animation a video, and then put it in as a video in each of the different slides.
Okay.
Actually, before everyone goes, I want just go to my little feedback form, because I know a lot of people have already left. If you can just go to my feedback form, and if you have time, fill it out. There's a couple of quick ones there, but if you have any suggestions or anything like that, that would be great, because this is my first time doing this one. So any suggestions would be great if you had feedback for me.
Peter, if you can provide some specifics as to some of the LED lights that you're using, there's some interest there.
Okay.
That's by Duncan Ferguson.
Yeah, but I'm using newer ones from Amazon and they've been great. They have, I can show them to you. Let me get, I've got LED Go's and I've got newers. So let me just go back to one of my cameras. Where is my camera? There it is. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me because I'm going to be moving away from the mic.
Yep, we can hear you.
So this is an LED, this is a newer LED light, and it's powered by a battery, and it's just a standard Sony battery, which is good for everything. And this has different adjustments on it. So it allows you to do not only brightness, but Kelvin, which goes from sunlight to tungsten. So, and these are cheap, I'm telling you, they're so cheap. And I just put them on a little arm like this so I can adjust the position. And I've actually got, I think I have 4 of these. I've only got 2 of them set up, but they are really inexpensive. And I've also got an LED Go, which I put on a stand like this if I have to move the light around. And the LED Go's are great as well, and they're much thinner. And they all use the same Sony battery. And when I say I'm like these panels, like when I first bought an LED panel, a 1x1, which is a 12-inch by 12-inch panel, was $2,000 when they first came out. I bought 3 10-inch by 10-inch panels with barn doors and stands for $299 now for 3 full-size lights, much bigger than these ones that I'm actually showing you here. So way bigger than these. Okay, they're full-size square ones. So much, much cheaper. I can probably put up a link on my, where can I put a link? I'll have to figure out a way. What I'll do is if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Peter Fujiwara is my YouTube channel, I'm going to make videos on all of this, including this session as well. So if you go to that, my YouTube channel, I will put links in a video about the lights.
And you recommended those lights to me, which I got a couple of years ago, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, they are so good. They are so good. Okay, any other questions? And I will stay on as long as there's a question.
Well, I think you have done a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Otto, before you go, what the background is that Cinque Terre or what? I'm just trying to figure it out. I have your picture kind of small here.
The La Costa de Amalfi, south of Napoli in Italy.
Oh,
beautiful.
That is beautiful. Yeah, my wife wants to go there. That's the Amalfi Coast?
Sí, naturalmente.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Let's see, who's left here? Chad's still here. Thanks, Chad. Logan, all my buddies. Craig, good to see you. Let's see, anyone else have a question? Anyone else have a question? No?
Maybe just a comment also, people appreciate the modeling that you're doing with your setup, even as you're going through and showing some of the equipment you have, you're using that and being able to.
Yeah, it's a total mess right now, my setup, just because I wanted to get so many cameras in. So as I said, I've got 7 cameras hooked into my MacBook Pro right now. So if you want to see the setup, I guess I could describe it to you. And Andre was my test bed. That's why I didn't use my wireless mic, because he said it's not loud enough. Anyway, so this is my setup. So right now, this is where I video conference and where I was doing my virtual teaching from. So I've got my 16-inch MacBook Pro base model. I've got 2 USB-C powered HD screens that are connected in so I can see everyone. I've got a EOS M200 as my main webcam, and the Rode NTG, Video Mic NTG. They're both mounted on using Arca Swiss quick releases. So if I ever did want to release them to use them for other purposes, I can just quick release them and take them off. I've got little mini arms for my LED lights. Oh, speakers wise, if you didn't know this, you should be getting monitors versus regular speakers. And these are the iHome, I can't remember, iLoud monitors. And the way you equate it, if you're a photographer out there, monitors are like raw photos. Okay, it gives you the pure sound, the exact sound that was recorded, versus speakers which are modified like a JPEG. Okay, that have been processed in some way. So when I got monitors, my audio improved significantly in terms of the way that I processed my audio. I have a Behringer soundboard connecting all my audio devices, and probably the most important device that plugs into my computer is this CalDigit, whatever, it's a TS3 Plus or something like that, because it has so many connections. So I've got literally all the cameras plugged into here. I have my Ethernet port plugged in there. Basically everything is plugged into there, including my scanner and my router that has the VPN on it, and my mesh. I have two different meshes in the house. So I've got an Arrow mesh and I have a Google mesh. So one is a secure mesh network and the other is an insecure network. I think that's it. And then I've got this arm for an iPad that I use for Creative Station. I've got this mic for voiceover, and I've got all the different bags that I use here. And I guess I should show all my camera gear. There's my camera gear. Oh, and the one camera I didn't switch to, and I borrowed my wife's camera for it, was the overhead, which I guess I should switch to just because I did use that. Let's switch to that one. That is this one, and gives you the overhead view of what I'm doing right now, which is kind of silly, to be honest. Hello. Anyway.
Peter, I have a question.
Yes.
You went into the monitor, so thank you. I did not
Yes.
know what the monitor was used for. Do you need, like, if you're into that, is one monitor sufficient, or do you need two, like a left and right?
Yeah, the more monitors, the better, depending on what you're doing. For this, I literally could have used 5 monitors. Well, like other than the screen, so 4 additional monitors would have been ideal. Just because what you can do with like MMHM is you can say, choose this monitor for this slide. And that makes it so much easier just to put the thing full screen on one of the monitors to do that. When you're doing video editing, 3 monitors minimum in terms of when you're doing it. Put all your media in one, your timeline in another, your program out in the other. 3 monitors is like vital, in my opinion. Anyway, any other questions?
Yeah, when's the studio tour going to be open? I guess, what phase of reopening does the studio tour fall under?
Well, well, as soon as the pandemic's done, it's like an open invitation for ADs to come over. Anyway, are there any other questions? I just said I'd stay on for as long as needed. I see there's still a number of people here. If there are any questions, feel free to go if you have to go. But I appreciate everyone being here. So thank you for showing up. And if you can fill out the survey for me, that would be ideal. Okay, no more questions? No more questions?
Great session, Peter.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks you. Thank you both.
Yeah. Thank you. Good seeing everyone. Good seeing everyone. See you, Chad. Thanks for the question. See you, Joanna.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, great to see everyone.
Yeah. That's good to see everyone. Eh? So it's great. This MMHM didn't crash.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And Andre, wonderful job moderating.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Tell my Ed McMahon, who I probably never saw other than on those commercials.
I'm going to stop the share now. I'll stop the share. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we're back to the 5 of us here.